Are the Cubs still in it for Alex Bregman? Is this thing started to Are the Cubs still in it for Alex Bregman? Is this free agent pursuit starting to break in the Cubs' direction? And how deep are they willing to go to sign the all-star third baseman? We're going to talk about that. Kyle Tucker, his former teammate in Houston, projected to make a huge contract after the season as a free agent. And Pecota projects the Cubs as a winner. And we'll talk about that. All right, here on the Cubs Baseball channel. Like, subscribe, thumbs up, brought to you by DraftKings. Let's get this show started. A lot to talk about here on the show today. Go Cubs. Let's go. What do you say, everybody? It's Mick Gillespie. Welcome to the Cubs Baseball channel. Let's get this party started. Let's talk about these Cubs, and let's start it off with Alex Bregman. The Alex Bregman sweepstakes are getting interesting because here we are closing in on the start of spring training for the Cubs. It's February 9th, so look, we're talking about a handful of days, and then pitchers and catchers report. Right now, it appears that Matt Shaw is going to be the Cubs' third baseman. And you look at Bregman and you say, okay, what are his options? If he goes back to Houston, they're going to have to make a bunch of moves. They've got a third baseman that they traded the Cubs to get, and Isaac Paredes. They have they traded for a first round pick in Cam Smith that also plays third base. So the Cubs traded him 2 third basemen in that deal, right? Jose Altuve says he'll go from second base to left field. Does that make sense? That makes to me, and then the money that you spend, it does not make sense to me for him to go to Houston. Then there's the Red Sox. Would the Red Sox up the deal to make it happen? Because they made him an offer, but he didn't take it. Then you got the Tigers. They just signed Jack Flaherty. How deep are they willing to go? I mean, they're paying for Javi Baez right now, who's not lived up to his contract. Where do you put him? They got so close last year, but are they going to want to invest in a free agent? And maybe Toronto, right? But if it comes down to the Cubs and one of these other teams, where are the Cubs willing to sit on this? And how would Bregman like to wear that Cubby blue and run out there at Wrigley Field? And I feel like that's the X factor in this. Also, the Cubs are going to have a pretty good team next year, which is really this year. So as this goes on, it is really interesting because it feels like the Cubs have some momentum, and maybe they're going to be able to pull this off. So we'll talk about that as it continues to roll. But the game plan's been to wait. And now all of a sudden, Bregman still hasn't been signed. And so maybe the Cubs bring in their best third baseman since Aramis Ramirez. Maybe Chris Bryant. So we'll see. But Bregman's still in play, and that's a good sign. Now, the Cubs went out and they made that trade we were talking about before to get Kyle Tucker. And now they're starting to talk about the money that Tucker could demand when this season is over, and how willing are the Cubs to pay this. And that almost makes it feel like, which I've talked about this before, this is a one-year rental unless the Cubs decide to really dig down. But what you want is for Bregman to have the type of season that a team would be willing to go 10 years, $350 million. That is a big price tag, and that would be the biggest contract that the Cubs have ever given out. And you talk about other players that have gotten those deals. You're talking about Francisco Lindor of the Mets, 10 years, $341, but he's one of their best players, and he's helped the Mets compete and make the playoffs. Corey Seager helped the Rangers win the World Series. He got 10 years, $325. So that's kind of the same ballpark you're looking at right now with Tucker. And so, we'll kind of look at this and say, hey, you know what? It's a 1-year deal, but would the Cubs be willing to match that kind of salary? How viable would that be? And if he earns that, it's only going to help this team. I can't imagine the Cubs not having a playoff run and him being worth that 10-year contract. Guys, I want to tell you that we've got a huge game coming up on Saturday. And you know about this. It's called Super Bowl 59. And it's going to pit a team looking for 3 straight Super Bowls against a team that lost to this team 2 years ago in this big game. And this is the 4th time that we've had a rematch of 2 teams with the same starting quarterbacks. The team that lost the first game lost the second game, which means the team that won the first game won the second game. So we'll see, right? Dallas, Jim Kelly, and Troy Aikman played twice. They played back-to-back seasons. Dallas with Roger Staubach and the Steelers with Terry Bradshaw. Steelers won both games. And then, obviously, this matchup here. Anyway, we'll talk about that, but I want to remind you that we got you covered. If you want to have some fun, use our DraftKings code CBC for Cubs Baseball Channel. $5 down, get you $200 in bonus bets.
Super Bowl 59 is right around the corner, and it's the perfect time to get in on the action with my partners at DraftKings Sportsbook. Right now, they're giving all new customers $200 in bonus bets instantly after betting just $5. This is your shot to make every last play a moment to be remembered. Don't wait. Download the DraftKings app now and sign up using the promo code CBC. The crown is yours. Stay in on all the action and use your $200 in bonus bets on DraftKings same-game parlays for a shot at even bigger payouts. Combine multiple bets together from the same game. Love the thrill of live betting? DraftKings has got you covered. Bet live on in-progress games right as they happen, making watching the game that much more exciting. If sports betting is not available in your state yet, don't worry. You can still join in on all the fun with DraftKings Daily Fantasy and have a shot to win cash prizes. Download the DraftKings app now. New customers use my promo code CBC and bet just $5 on any wager and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's promo code CBC only at DraftKings Sportsbook.
I guess the other one was Eli Manning beating Tom Brady, the Giants and the Patriots in Super Bowl rematches. How about that? Tom Brady on the wrong end of something for once. Guys, the final thing I wanted to get in on today's Cub Show was the Pecota projections that the Cubs are going to win the Central. This is, look, you got to go out there and play the games. But I do love the fact that our friend Brett Taylor at Bleacher Nation threw this up, and I get a chance to look at this thing, Pecota. Hey, 90-win Cubs team right now. This isn't even without any of the moves they're going to try to make between now and the end of the season. But they have them 10 games projected better than Milwaukee, and then the Cardinals, the Pirates, and the Reds all projected to win 70 games. Right. So we'll see. This is obviously a good sign for the Cubs. They still got to go out there and win. But the fact that they have been aggressive in trying to build this roster, they have a great manager. And if they can make it through April, I feel like this team's going to be really good. And you look at that April schedule, and it's so tough. But there are maybe a third baseman, maybe one more starter, and maybe just one more piece in the bullpen away from having what I feel like would be a solid roster moving forward. All right, thanks again for hanging out with us on the Cubs Baseball Channel. Talking Cubs every single day. Like, subscribe, thumbs up, get in that comment section. Love to hear from you guys, and we will do it again tomorrow. But obviously on the road, but doing our thing, man. Go Cubs.